Hello everybody, AFM here with a Link to the Past playthrough or run-through with a twist. Things to know here as we start the game, this is based on an emulator version. I don't advocate for these usually, but this prospect was so interesting to me, I just had to try it out. Plus, I'm not feeling too bad about it because I do own a Link to the Past, maybe 4 versions of it. The Super Nintendo version, the original cartridge, the Wii version, the Wii U version, and the 3DS recently released one on the virtual consoles. And I just couldn't get my head off this prospect of Link to the Past, and you're gonna see what's different here, aside from being the Japanese version, as we open the first chest. Here we go. There's supposed to be a lamp there, but you see, I got a piece of heart. So basically this emulator, or this version of A Link to the Past, brilliant people who programmed and created this concept, it's called A Link to the Past Randomizer. And by its name, and as you can tell from that first chest, basically all items have been randomized. You could get anything from a chest. It could be as big as, for example, the hook shot in the beginning of the game, to a small minor thing like getting maybe rupees from a big chest in the dungeon. So this is actually quite brilliant, and as I played this, I think this is the second run through of the game I've played, and as I've been playing this, I already appreciate how amazing A Link to the Past overworld and design is, but as I played the game in this version, I appreciated it even more because by randomizing these items anywhere and everywhere, it made me appreciate A Link to the Past's overworld and brilliant and tight design more and more. You see these days a lot of developers and games, their overworlds focus on size and scope. While that is, for me, it's a really good thing and brilliant in my opinion, but the bigger overworlds are, the more flaws are noticed in my opinion. Even overworlds like Fallout 4, you know, they as big as that is, bugs are apparent, and like you will get to a point where things start to get repetitive. A Link to the Past, out of all the overworlds in all games, I think it's the best of all time, because it's not what you do with the overworld, it's how you implement. It's not the scope, it's not the size, it's what you do. I sort of like misquoted at the beginning of this. I want to say it's not about the size of the overworld, it's what you do with it. And A Link to the Past is a true testament of that statement, because back then it was quite big. It's not the biggest, but it was big. Right now, obviously the size pales in comparison compared to the games that are released today. But at the same time, it still remains timeless, even to games like Ocarina of Time, which people regard as the greatest Zelda of all time, and I do love Ocarina of Time as much as I love it. The overworld shock factor waned down as years went by. Yeah, it didn't age well, the overworld. Let's just say that with Ocarina of Time, it was great back then, but right now, Link to the Past it beats it by a zillion miles in my opinion. So far we're doing okay here, and as you can see, I'm supposed to be getting the boomerang, but I got the map, which is quite useless. The programmers of this randomizer tried to make it as less game-breaking as possible. In other words, they randomized stuff, even like events, trigger events, like you will see later in the game when NPCs give you items like the bug-catching kid, or the guy who sells bottles, and the old man. They also give you randomized items, so these are within the scope of the randomizer. Even the pieces of heart, also within the scope of the randomizer. But in order not to break it, within dungeons they try to program it in the sense that you try to get the key, or the big key, like they don't make it outside of the dungeon. They try to make it as tight as possible. And here I got instead of rupees, I got a mushroom, which is, I was laughing, that was quite hilarious. What am I gonna do with this item? But as I've been saying, this randomizer proved to me that A Link to the Past, even with a concept as broken as this, it makes the game quite fun, fresh, and playable. You will get failed runs, definitely. This, for me personally, I do think, in my opinion, is a failed run. And by the end of the video, I am I would say a Link to the Past aficionado. I memorize the game by heart. Not every little bit of detail, but I do know what chest contains what and where can I find as much chest as possible. But by the end of the run, I gave up, basically. I just couldn't find a way to progress because I didn't get the appropriate item that I wanted. So, A Link Between Worlds for the 3DS was released years ago, and it also proved that the overworld of A Link to the Past is a strong basis. So you just take that overworld, copy it and paste it, and just make a twist on it. As basic as randomizing items, or as A Link Between Worlds, like going between walls or going within walls. That alone completely made the game like as if you're playing something new. And that's what I felt with playing this randomizer. I felt that, wow, I'm playing A Link to the Past. Yeah, it's familiar, but the mentality, I'm playing it differently. It doesn't show from this first dungeon and the tutorial, but once I get to the first dungeon, you're gonna see me like sort of struggling and trying to like rack my brain around what am I supposed to be doing? Like, okay, I'm stumped. What do I do? I have to go back. So there's gonna be a lot of like moments in this randomizer playthrough that will show you how confused I am, basically. So yeah, the tutorial dungeon is, I call it the tutorial dungeon. Yeah, it's the intro dungeon. It's pretty basic so far. We just got like weird. I didn't get the boomerang. It's not really necessary to finish the game, which is interesting. For the lucky people, I would say, whoever gets bombs early, because there is a segment in this dungeon that bombs will be very useful for actually this segment once I get out of this dark area. They programmed a couple of areas, these developers or the ROM hackers, so that you could progress more and more. For example, here you're supposed to be getting the lamp in order to progress, but the developers, or the ROM hackers, I should say, made it possible for you to progress even without the lamp, so the game would be playable. Same goes for like trigger events, like I said, I would say the Zora King, for example. Even if you get the flippers early from one of these chests, the event will be activated and triggered, and he will give you a randomized item. Not necessarily the flippers, he can give you something else for 500 rupees. So that still stays in. And even stuff like, here's the place that I was talking about. If you had the bombs early, you would be very, very lucky, because you could get some more chests here, and the prospect of getting like cool items early would be very interesting in breaking the game. I'm curious if anybody ran into, like, for example, getting the power gloves or power mitts in the first chest in the Link's house while it's raining. I'm curious does the game allow you to explore the overworld while it's raining? And you could, because the power gloves, Titan's mitts are one of the things that you could progress through the game. It's one of these key items, in my opinion, and you'll see this in this run, actually. The reason they chose the Japanese version, I think because it's advantageous for speedrunners. I'm not a speedrunner, but there are some sort of quirks with the Japanese version that speedrunners can use, and maybe that's what's missing for me. Maybe that's how I'm supposed to progress. I'm not sure. But yeah, it's a failed run for me. It's supposed to be a full heart in that chest, but I got a piece of heart. So as you can see, unlucky for me here. So here's my mentality. Every time I play Link to the Past, the first things I do as I'm playing is go to Kakariko Village, try to get as much side items from there as possible, and then instead of going to the first dungeon, I go south, in which southeast, I think. Yeah, it's just south of the first dungeon, basically, where you can get the ice rod early on in the game, and that's where there's a prospect of getting a chest. So here, my mentality is like, okay, the first place to go through, there are certain places to get the chest from. This guy will give you randomized items. I need 100 rupees, so I'm trying to look for that house that has supposed to be having a bottle, and we'll see what we get here instead of the bottle. But it's quite fun. Yeah, here's it. You have to go back to the house. One of those interesting secrets of the game. So what am I gonna get? Let's see, rupees. Yeah, that's a bit useful, but I would say more useless than useful in my opinion. But yeah, it's a really refreshing game to play. I recommend. Like I said, I don't advocate piracy or owning this game or getting the ROM without owning this game. That's my mentality. A lot of people think that's an old game, so you can do what you want, but that's not how I think. I usually don't play my old games in emulators. I try to get the official Virtual Console versions and stuff like that. So yeah, bombs are one of these first things that I need, because I'm gonna have access to a lot of chests using the bombs. I wish I got this earlier on. Here's one chest. Here's supposed to be a piece of heart here, but we'll see what we're gonna get. Bombs, yeah, that's kind of useless. I wish I got that at the beginning of the intro dungeon. That would have been cool. So I'm just like roaming around, and there's something at the north here. It's basically the first like secret of the game, you would say. For people who are just getting used to Link to the Past world, they're supposed to come here. That's useless. 10 arrows. I don't have the bow. Rupees again. Piece of heart. That's useful. And 100 rupees. That's exactly what I needed to get that bottle, or buy that bottle from that dude over there. So yeah, that was kind of useful. That's cool. Another piece of heart. So now I have a full heart. That's kind of cool. So instead of getting the full container from the sanctuary, I got 4 pieces of heart. And I still just got through the intro. So that's not supposed to happen that fast. So here we go. We're gonna talk to that dude. He's supposed to be giving me a bottle for 100 rupees. What do I get? Let's see. Yeah, here's the big surprise. I got a hook shot. I got the hook shot early. I'm supposed to be getting that in the second dungeon of the Dark World. So that's kind of cool. I'm racking my brain right now. What am I supposed to do with the hook shot early? There's not a lot of places for use here. And then later in the game, I actually find like one huge... You're gonna see as I play, one huge use for the hook shot early. So yeah, trying to figure out this puzzle, trying to get all the chests in one go. If you fail of doing so, you can go back into the stairs and go up again. So I think everything is... I think most of the things were rupees. So we got 2 rupees and 1 bomb and 1 arrow. Supposed to be a piece of heart here. We'll see what we get. Yep, same as some of the items are placed in the same areas. It depends on your randomizer actually. So you could actually the game the ROM comes first in an EXE version for Windows, and that EXE program will create the randomizer for you. Every time you create a randomizer, the item placements are different. So no matter how many times I play or repeat this ROM, it's going to be the same items. It doesn't randomize it with every time you open the file or your save file. Even with save states and whatnot, it doesn't randomize that way. It doesn't work that way. It works in the way of you have to redo the ROM again with a new EXE. In this library, there's supposed to be the Book of Medora, and just this hilarious bombs. It's like what the heck? What am I gonna do with that? Bombs? Seriously? Here's another opportunity for a piece of heart in this area. Let's see what we get instead of that piece of heart. So as you can see, I'm trying to maximize as much chests and pieces of heart I could get before going into the first dungeon, because I might get something useful. It takes a while to get through all these side things before going to the first dungeon, but it's worth it. Bombs. So like I said, it's just quite useless. Very unlucky for me. I don't need that much bombs, or that many bombs actually. So yeah. As I play this game, allow me to tell you a funny A Link to the Past story. I've been a fan since Zelda 2. That was actually the first game I played, technically. I watched Zelda 1 being played by my cousin's uncle, but Zelda 2 was the first game I've played. And A Link to the Past, I got to know that its existence through a friend. He was a school buddy, actually, and we did share our similar passions in games back then. And I was amazed, I was blown away when I first saw this in motion for the Super Nintendo. I didn't have a Super Nintendo yet, but I told my parents I really wanted one, and there was a local place here in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, next to Safeway, called Computer House, and they were the only place that sold original games back then. And I saw that here I got the lantern. There's supposed to be a piece of art, so that's quite funny. And there's an area in the Lost Woods that's supposed to be having the mushroom, but you're gonna see the item I get instead. Anyway, so I borrow A Link to the Past from my friend. Then I got A Link to the Past, and he had a completed save. His save was complete, and he finished everything. And what I did was I erased his save. I was so stupid back then with my 7-year-old self. I don't know why. I played the save and then I erased it, and I was like crying like crazy. I was afraid that he wouldn't like make me borrow a game again. So I went to my mom and I told her what happened, and she went the next day and tried to look for the strategy guide for A Link to the Past, which in my opinion is one of the coolest strategy guides because it had a lot of very nice artwork from not just A Link to the Past, from even the first 2 games. And they're very, very memorable artwork. So yeah, we got the strategy guide and she played with me. That's why I have this game like memorized. I'm not an advocate of strategy guides now, but back then, I just wanted to finish the game and give him his completed save file without him noticing. I think that didn't work. So yeah, I got, like, as you've seen, I got the Rock's Cape. It's not called the Rock's Cape. What is it called? I forgot. The Rock's Cape is the name for the items in Link's Awakening. Is it called the Rock's Cape here? I forgot, actually. I can't remember. So yeah, I'm making use of the hookshot here. I don't have boomerang, so might as well freeze people with the hookshot. So next place I'm going to is the witch, which will also give me a randomized item if I give her the mushroom. Let's see what we get here. Go back. Piece of heart. That's kind of useful. That's interesting. So yeah, I'm just racking my brain of where else I could go. I think right now I'm going to the south, in which, like I said, the place where they have supposed to be having the ice rod. So it's just a fun game to play. Like, I'm just amazed that this change alone makes the game so refreshing. And it's, like I said, the testament to how strong the overworld is even after all these years. It's just like an amazing overworld to play in. It's not big as the games we have now, but it's just tight. The development, the way that they placed everything here, it's so tight, so well done. That's why I love the Link Between Worlds so much. They've taken this overworld. It's not you could say basically copied and pasted, but at the same time, so many minute changes that made A Link Between Worlds so refreshing to play. And like I said, this crazy change alone with the randomized items makes the game so much fun. It is. Even watching, just like, okay, what is he gonna get next? What am I gonna get next? It makes me like play in anticipation. Like I said, I think this is the second run through of the game. The first run through was just like an experiment I played without recording. Another thing that made me want to record this is I was kind of surprised actually by this aspect of my PC or my laptop. I do have Windows 10, and as I downloaded the emulator Z Super NES that I'm using for this run through, I got like a bar, an automatic bar that says press Win plus G plus Shift or something to record. Like, where does this come from? This is from the emulator itself or from Windows 10? I didn't understand. Is this like a new concept, a new feature? So as soon as I saw that, I think the Xbox app popped up, and apparently I could use the game DVR functionality in Windows 10 to record game playthroughs. And for some reason, the game DVR Xbox app recognized the emulator as a game immediately without me like telling it anything, and it immediately gave me this option to record. Like, I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool, and it's really seamless and easy to do. I'm not computer illiterate, but when it comes to a program like XSplit, I'm still like, I'm finding it difficult. I can't wrap my head around XSplit yet. I tried it a few times. It doesn't play well with my laptop. Sometimes it freezes, slows down, and whatnot. I tried updating it, and I didn't use it since then. It just takes a while for me to wrap my head around XSplit. So I'm unlucky here. I'm supposed to be getting a piece of heart, but I got bombs. So yeah, this game DVR functionality of the Xbox, I didn't expect it to work with Windows 10 and this seamlessly. I went just to check that whether or not it recognizes my Steam games, and it does actually. So it makes recording very, very easy for me. I do have an NVIDIA GPU on this gaming laptop, but the functionality, the recording functionality, or the shadow play, I don't know, it doesn't want to work well for some reason. I don't know why. So yeah, here in this area I struggle a bit because one of the disadvantages of playing in an emulator is not having the controller. And I'm playing using a keyboard, and it's like, okay, I don't know, what am I doing? See, I'm struggling with the controls here. I tried mapping it very conveniently, but it's still difficult. So yeah, see, I'm falling and I'm dying and still getting used to the save state functionality. I'm like, yeah, I'm such a noob. That's goes to show you that I don't play with emulators much. I don't. So here I struggled a bit, and I loaded my save state again. And this place is where you get a couple of chests. So maybe I'll be lucky and get something cool. I die again. I'm like, okay, this is getting very, very frustrating. And I'm trying to use that technique. I'm always good with the controller, like going under the, going behind the hole. But with the keyboard, I'm kind of struggling. It doesn't want to recognize my Steam controller for some reason, or when it recognizes it, it maps my buttons incorrectly. I don't know why. So yeah, if anybody's an expert on that, sound off in the comments below. So yeah, here basically, this dude's supposed to give me 500 rupees. He gave me the Book of Medora. The freaking Book of Medora by a thief that's hiding in a cave. And I get nothing here. Just nothing. All useless items except for the Book of Medora by that thief. So that's kind of cool. So yeah, I'm going to the ice cave to get the ice rod. Or what's instead of the ice rod, I don't know what's it going to be. I can't remember actually. And this stupid bird is following me. And this place is actually difficult to navigate when you have 3 or 4 hearts. Especially those crabs, they're kind of fast. So yeah, even with a keyboard, as you can see, I'm just like kind of struggling here. Okay, these dudes are also like kind of tough to bypass. Especially since they're fast and you're still slow. The big Pegasus boots and I have 4 hearts. I'm like, okay. Hanging on to the edge of my life here. Hoping for a heart sooner or later. Yeah, I'm trying to save my state here just in case something happens. Yay. bomb, and here is supposed to get the ice rod. And there's something, if I had the boots, the Titan's mitts, I would have lifted that rock. And I think there's a chest in there, or a thief in there. What am I gonna get? The magic powder. Not really a vital item to complete the game with, and I really certainly don't need it now. The only place that you need the magic powder, or it's actually an essential, not an essential, but it helps with these anti-fairies in the dungeons, because you turn them into fairies. And I think the only place that you really need it is if you want to get that upgrade for the magic meter in the Dark World, in which it gives you, like, makes the magic meter more efficient. Your magical items don't drag as much magic, so that's the only place that you really need the magic powder in order to get like an essential upgrade or something. Even then, you really don't need it to complete the game. It seems like sort of like and it's not a necessity. Remember, we sprinkle the magic powders on these electric dudes. They give you like a version of them, like wearing glasses and singing tra-la-la, I don't know. That was a very weird Easter egg. I didn't understand it. Something really Japanese-esque, I would say. So yeah, now I've finished everything here, and I'm supposed to be going to the first dungeon of the game. And here's where things will get really spicy with the first dungeon, because it's gonna be a challenge to navigate. I just skip here, not to bore you guys with backtracking. There we go. Heading to the first dungeon. And we're going to be passing the area in which also we're supposed to be getting chests where I can't pronounce his name, Shaharala or something like that. He's supposed to be giving you something after you get the first pendant or first medallion. Usually it's the it's not usually, it's the Pegasus boots. It's supposed to be that, but we'll see where we get actually. So here we're gonna get 3 chests. They were not essential. I remember I think one of them was a piece of heart. I'm not sure. Yeah. And the rest are supposed to be rupees. And here I got a freaking moon pearl. I'm like, okay, the moon pearl early. It's something that you don't need, but getting it is sort of like a relief, because you're not going to be stuck. You will need the moon pearl eventually in your playthrough, because the moon pearl keeps you human in the Dark World. So if you don't get that, your run is over. So I'm glad I got it early at least. I don't need it now, but I'm gonna certainly need it later. The moon pearl and the mirror, the magic mirror. I didn't get that yet. I don't think I get it in this playthrough. Like, that was unfortunate. I think that was one of the things that... No, I don't. No, it's not the thing that made me end the playthrough. It's something else. Here we go, first dungeon. There are some secondary chests here that are not essential for you to open. So there are dungeons that in that don't have these types of chests. But in this dungeon, the first dungeon, there is that one up there, supposed to be, I think, containing 100 rupees in the Link to the Past vanilla. But here, I'm not so sure. We'll see. The main item of this dungeon is the bow and arrow, and you're gonna see that I'm not gonna get it, unfortunately. And that alone made me completely flip out, change the way I think of A Link to the Past, and sort of make me think outside the box. And you'll see me spending a lot of time in this dungeon because the unlucky route that I got with the items here. So it's going to be a bit repetitive, but if there's any place that I need to cut, I'll cut. I think that's where it's supposed to be, the map. Or the compass, I think. One of these. They're interchangeable. But for people who already memorize A Link to the Past, you don't really need the map, or I don't really need the map or the compass here. Unless I try to remind myself of any chest that I've missed. So yeah, I'm trying to use bottles. They're very important in the beginning of the game for you to defeat enemies, especially that dude with the eye. Green dude, I don't know his official name, so... There's the first appearance of the anti-fairies. Wish I had that no, I do have the magic powder, but I didn't use them on the fairies. I don't really need to, because I don't have a bottle, I don't have the, what do you call it, the bug catching net, so I can't store the fairies in bottles yet. And here I forgot that I skipped that item, so I'm gonna have to go back to it eventually. See, I'm like, okay, no, I skipped that item, I need to go back to it. I'm hesitating. It's kind of funny watching me play. Let me just finish this and then go back. Let's see what I get here. Now, these guys are annoying, so it's cool to kill them with bottles as well, because they don't react to bottles, they only react to your sword. And this chest, I'm supposed to be getting the big key. Supposed to. Let's see what I get. And I got the big key. It's still the same placement here. Lucky me. So it makes me backtrack easily, actually. I didn't need to go back. I'm glad I didn't go back. Let's see what we get in the big chest. Compass. Really? Like, compass? Seriously? That was like a really, really frustrating thing to get. Well, come on, just give me anything else. A compass? Why? I don't need that. And why from that big chest? I'm supposed to be getting something like... Yeah, so I don't know how they it's brilliant the way they programmed this, but I think they have to adjust the algorithm a bit of what important items you get where, because it'll be nicer to make it as I would say the least game breaking as possible. So no matter what you do, even with a randomizer, you manage to like completely finish the game easily. They've done that with dungeons as much as they can, but there's still some bugs to be ironed out, because you'll see in this playthrough I just get stuck basically because I don't get the item that I want and I can't progress basically. I've exhausted all the options. Yeah, finally a bottle. That was kind of useful, because I need to go back to the bug catching kid. His scene of him giving you the bug catching net will not trigger unless you have a bottle. So I didn't get a bottle from the bottle dude. I got the hook shot. So now I have to go back. I like to remind myself or program my head, like as soon as I finish this dungeon or try to finish it, I go back to the bug catching dude, kid, and get whatever randomized item he gives me. So yeah, like I said, it really changes the way you play. Like you have to readjust yourself to Link to the Past and try to maximize as much chest as you can get. That was kind of useless. An arrow without a bow. A single arrow. So I'm continuing through the dungeon, and like I said, I'm sort of oblivious right now that I don't have the bow, but I'm still playing it. And this dungeon, you need the bow to complete it, because you will get to a point where you will see the enemy, the red version of the green singular eye enemy. I forgot his name. I don't remember the official name, but he can only die, or it can only die with an arrow. It won't die with anything else. You can't throw a bottle at it. You can't swing your sword. The arrow is the only thing that'll kill it. Or if you have like one of the medallions. So I'm just playing through the dungeon, and I completely forgot that you'll get to the I'm going to be getting to that point in the dungeon that okay, this is not gonna work, but I don't realize it. So that's kind of funny watching myself, like, yeah, I'm playing normally, nothing's going on, I get to finish this dungeon. Yeah, it's all good, And then I get to the realization as I get to that room and that red enemy. I'm like, oh, damn, okay, that sucks. That's not gonna work. Still working my way through the dungeon efficiently. And I'm trying to maximize my rupees here, getting as much rupees as possible because I will need 500 for the Zora King. Eventually. Because the Zora King is supposed to be giving me the Zora Flippers. But I might get a randomized item from him that's different. Yeah, I got to go to the right first because here I'll get the rupees. These dudes whoop my butt, basically. And I decide like, okay, it's not worth getting everything. I'm still used to trying to play this in the keyboard and it's very, very difficult, so that's why I'm like playing very badly. Those anti-fairies, gotta be careful. Save the state. And here, like, I try to whoop the magic powder out and try to turn one into a fairy. And I fail miserably. And I think I allow the death. Here's where I like the point, and I say, yeah, I can't even progress, so why am I progressing? Or not. I'm still continuing, I don't know why. So yeah, basically I'm I'm still oblivious to that fact. So let me cut here and we'll get back to me getting out of the dungeon because it's basically a moot point. It's useless to continue. There are no chests, there's nothing in front. And like I said, you get to the point where you meet the red enemy, and the red enemy can't die except with the arrows. So here we cut back to A Link to the Past, and we've backtracked to Kakariko Village because kind of useless with that dungeon. I'm going to that bug catching dude because he might give me something useful. Hopefully he does. Since I got the bottle from the first dungeon, I didn't complete it. Come on, what are you gonna give me? 100 rupees. Kinda useful. Because I could later go to the Zora King easily without me farming for rupees. So right now I'm like racking my brain. I think I'm thinking like, yeah, the run is over. I can't do anything. So I'm just roaming around aimlessly, and then I started thinking, I'm like, yeah, I did get the Book of Medora from that thief, so I could go to the second dungeon, which is kind of cool. So I didn't finish the first dungeon, and I could just go to the second dungeon because I do have the Book of Medora without getting the Pegasus boots. So I'm playing things out of order here. Like I said, it's very, very interesting. Like you sort of change the way you think of A Link to the Past with this randomizer. And right now I'm just walking towards the second dungeon and wandering aimlessly. Still, I think here at this point I was just roaming around and I think I was about to give up. That's why I'm not sure of my not sure of the way or what am I supposed to do. I'm still like confused, so it's kind of funny to watch myself like being confused, like, okay, the run is over, there's nothing to do, so I'm just running around aimlessly, and then I remember, yeah, I do have the Book of Medora. I think this point is where I came to the realization that, no, it's not over yet. I can still do something, and salvage this run. I've always found this place like a strange area, and Link to the Past in the overworld. I always find it as a useless place. Like, there's nothing here, all it does is just connects you from the north to Hyrule Castle. I didn't use it much. I never used this area. I could rarely use it, but in this run, for some reason, I've stumbled upon it. Maybe because I was confused and didn't know what to do. So yeah, I always found it as a useless place, but I think they made use of that area in A Link Between Worlds. There are a couple of, in in my opinion, there are a few useless places in A Link to the Past that you don't do anything with it. There's one that's just south of the first dungeon. It's the significant landmark of that place is there's a cave where there's a ferry, and there's a bunch of hammer pegs surrounding a rock which will lead you to the Dark World transport area. I didn't find it as well particularly useful for me to visit in A Link to the Past. I usually skip that place. It does have fairies if you want to like farm fairies for your bottles, but aside from that, nothing. I found it relatively useless. But A Link Between Worlds, they also make use of that place by hiding secret stuff there, so that was kind of cool. And besides, A Link Between Worlds, it works differently in transporting between the light world and the dark world. You sort of have to look for that entry point, so you can't use the magic mirror. There's no magic mirror in the game, so the entry points are important. And before going to the second dungeon, I go north where there's supposed to be a piece of heart there. Supposed to be. I'm playing terribly. Again, keyboard. No Johns, no Johns. Yeah, this is one of these caves that I sometimes forget when I'm playing Link to the Past, the completionist playthrough. Sometimes there are pieces of heart that I forget, like two pieces of heart in particular. This one, and there's one I got the flippers, the Zora's flippers. So like, okay, this changes my world in this playthrough completely, because you could do a lot with the Zora's flippers early. You could do a lot actually. For one, you don't need to go to the Zora King, but I can, because he'll give me something different. And here I die. I think I intentionally die because I think instead of going to the second dungeon, let me just finish off what I need to do with the flippers. And that's what I think of doing. That's why I killed myself intentionally. Or not. So here, like, what I do is, because I don't have the power glove or the power mitts, I do look for these, what came to use here, and these are one of the things that I rarely use in the regular Link to the Past playthrough, are the transport. You'll see the whirlpools. The whirlpools transport you from one area to another in the overworld, and I usually don't use these. I usually either use I either walk there, or either use the ocarina. But these come into play as very useful things to do here, because maybe I won't get the mitts, so I could immediately transport to places that I'm not supposed to be there early. One of these, I think, is the Zora's waterfall, and I don't know why I'm transporting back and forth, playing around here, like thinking where do I need to go. There are two things I wanted to do with as soon as you get the flippers. There's a place under the bridge of Hyrule Castle in which there's this dude sleeping, and he gives you a bottle. So this guy immediately comes to mind, because he will give me a randomized item. I need to go to this guy. So I'm trying to remember where he is, and I don't think he's in the area that I'm exploring right now. I'm like, okay, what am I doing? Where am I going? I'm just like exploring. This is also one of the useless things in A Link to the Past, this area here. A Link Between Worlds, I remember they do something creative with this place. I think they put like a secret cave, and there's this troll hiding there. It's not as useful as you expect, but it's like a kind of a fun thing to put there. But it's not an area that you usually need to go to, so I don't know why they keep it there. It's a useless place to be. In fact, this transport is kind of useless. Like, why is it here? It doesn't really do anything for me. So I'm trying to remember where the other whirlpools are. There is one in the... as you're getting out of Link's house to the west, if I'm not mistaken. But I'm trying to like wrap my brain around where these things are, because I could get to the Zora King without having the power mitts or the power glove. So that's kind of cool. And just checking that there's nothing here. These shops also are, to me, they're kind of useless unless you want bombs or something. And you usually don't run up bombs that quick unless you're like trigger happy. So here there's supposed to be a piece of heart. There's 50 rupees up there. Like, what the hell? I don't need that. That's kind of useless. And yeah, now I remember where the sleeping guy is, and to go under that bridge. This is one of the secrets that I would never have discovered on my own. I think I found it via the strategy guide that I got when I was 7 years old. So he's supposed to give you your third bottle, but he's gonna give you something else. 20 rupees, really? I'm like gritting my teeth. I'm sure I was gritting my teeth here. Like, wow, I did all that and I got nothing. Freaking 20 rupees for that. And it's really, really frustrating when you get an item that's really relatively useless, basically, that you can't do anything with. And there's 50 rupees there. Like, I'm never gonna go to that secret. I don't need it. Up that island, there's a fairy that can upgrade your bombs and arrows, but I've decided not to use her for now. And there's a waterfall of wishing too. Something that really cool that I noticed in the waterfall of wishing. I was just trying things out here and seeing whether they randomized anything here. Usually when you throw an empty bottle, they give you back one filled with green potion. So I'm thinking like, okay, let me try throwing the bottle here and see what I get. Obviously the shield will give you the upgrade immediately, so these things aren't randomized. The shield upgrade and whatnot, but the bottle is kind of different actually. See, I throw the shield here, and I get the upgrade typically, as usual. They don't do anything with that. And here I'm gonna try the bottle, see what it does. Like I said, when you throw a bottle, an empty bottle is supposed to be getting one filled with green potion. And surprise, surprise, these programmers thought of everything. They even randomized the bottles, which is kind of cool. I like that. I got one with the fairy. Now that was like, yay, that's cool, because I don't have the ability to catch fairies inside bottles, so randomizing that is pretty cool. Another little detail I noticed, I don't know if I think I didn't visit a fairy yet, but here when you visit fairies, they fill your heart containers and magic, both. But I don't think in the original game they fill both. I think they fill your hearts only, if I'm not mistaken. Here there's supposed to be a piece of heart on the right. It's like 10 hours. I'm like, what? Why? It's like, this is very frustrating. What a frustrating random thing to put there. So I'm making my way to the Zora King, hoping, praying that he gives me something useful. Please give me something that's cool, like these Zora's flippers. Please, Zora King. So like I said, yeah, I do have the flippers, but the scene still triggers because they want to maximize the randomizer, which is a cool thing to program in. I give him 500 rupees, and he gives me crap. That's what he gives me. He gives me bombs. Why? I'm laughing, I'm like gritting my teeth at the same time. This is so funny. It's I would say it's tragically funny. And I might as well just get these arrows. I'm like, okay, I might as well be here. I will get this stupid, useless thing, just to show how stupid it is and how useless it is. But it's fun. It's just fun watching, even watching myself playing this. I'm recording above my. It's not live commentary. It's post. So basically, the Zora's flippers being early was a useless upgrade. Useless early thing to get because I did nothing with them. And I just wasted my time. Should have gone to that second dungeon. Indeed, indeed. So yeah, I think we're gonna cut here also. And we'll see you as I get to the second dungeon. So here we go, guys. Off to the second dungeon. Got the Book of Medora early. Thank you, Thief. And the Book of Medora is the only thing that will give you access to the second dungeon. You can't go into it in any other way. So it's a vital item. If you don't get it, you're basically screwed. And the run is over. Because Link to the Past initially, the first 3 dungeons at least, it's sort of linear because it does force you to go through it in the order that it wants. But once you get to the Dark World, things get a bit interesting. You could go out of order if you're sneaky, or if you're sneaky enough, if you know the game good enough. So I usually, when I go to the Dark World, I like to, as soon as I can, get the upgraded version of the Titan's Myths, because that will grant me access to basically all the overworld. So yeah, same mentality with A Link Between Worlds. I noticed there are certain items that are vital for you to explore the overworld, and I tend to get these items first. Even in Link Between Worlds, as soon as I can, I try to get the items that will allow me full access to the overworld, so exploring would be seamless. And Link Between Worlds is developed or programmed in a way that they make these items quite accessible in the beginning of the game. You don't need to do much to get the items that would make you explore the overworld. But in Link to the Past, you have to work for these a bit. I'm supposed to be getting a key here. I did not get the key, so that is very, very concerning. Not getting a key, and you do need a key very early in this dungeon, and there's no way for me to get one unless I get the chest, and the chest did not give me the key. So I'm racking my brain around this dungeon now. I'm like, okay, looks like this is gonna be a failed one too, but I'm gonna keep exploring anyway. Try to get as much as I can. Try to find any keys hidden here or there. As you can see also, I've been using the hookshot and defeating these enemies that are coming from the sand, and I've never seen the animation before or not the animation, or their state that they're outside of the sand, they're quicksand. So that's kind of cool that the hookshot does that to them. I didn't know that. That's the first, because I don't usually explore this dungeon or backtrack to it with the hookshot. So that's kind of cool to see, these enemies outside of their environment. Yeah, a couple of bits here or there. I wonder if that's something that they intentionally programmed. I think they did, because you can, even in the original vanilla game, go back to the second dungeon and use the hookshot on these dudes. So they thought it through, apparently. So as you can see, as this dungeon, I require a key early, and there's an area up north that the key is on top of a. It's just like the Book of Medora. It's on top of a. It's on top of a thing, and you can't get it unless you have the Pegasus boots, and I don't have it here. I'm supposed to have it, but I do not have it, so I can't explore this dungeon. It's basically useless to me. I go south. Usually there's a piece of heart here, and it's just baffling. A freaking ocarina. I'm like, okay, wow, that's a game changer. That is a game changer. It will allow me to access certain areas that I'm not supposed to be in, and it's kind of cool to have it early on. So I can't progress through this dungeon. I just can't. But I do have the ocarina, so that gives me hope to try to do something out of what I have here. I'm just like doing the finishing touches, see whether or not there are some chests that I missed out on, but it's just fairies. And I can't do anything, basically. The dungeon is locked for me. So I'm just gonna exit. Get out of here. And also there's a nice little quirk in this dungeon. I usually don't exit this dungeon when I'm playing A Link to the Past vanilla. I just complete it through and through. As soon as I get into it, I beat it. But here you'll see me going subconsciously going back to the entrance, and I'm sort of surprised because the entrance is locked. You'll see as I play this game. It's kind of cool to see. I'm just backtracking here, just being sure that there's something I could do. Nothing, just like going around here, mindlessly going back to areas that, yeah, this is the area that I'm supposed to get the key from, and there's no way I could get it. I need the Pegasus boots. I go and try, see the hookshot, does it do anything, try to go with the hookshot, no, doesn't do anything, I cannot get it. So I just need the Pegasus boots. So smart design, so you just, like I said, these tidbits, it really reminds me of rewatching Back to the Future, because I love watching these movies from time to time and just like popping them up again. And every time I open and I watch these movies, I notice an additional little detail that I didn't see before. I'm like, wow, okay, they thought this through. There's like nice continuity, even in the background and useless things like that. So A Link to the Past has the same stuff. So you can see here, I go to the entrance. I'm like, okay, it's locked. So how do I get out of here? Well, I usually don't exit this dungeon. So then I remember, yeah, there's another exit from the right side that I went through by mistake. I wouldn't have remembered that if I didn't go through it now. So it's kind of interesting. You notice these little things in A Link to the Past. This dungeon is never fully unlocked. You have to read the Book of Medora every time you enter the dungeon to unlock that area. So I think I die here intentionally because this basically useless. And I don't die intentionally. I'm trying to cover up myself up. I died unintentionally here, and the fairy rescued me, luckily. Even these graveyards up there, they will give you randomized items. You don't necessarily get the medallions from here. So here I'm saving, just to save on time. I want to go to Kakariko Village immediately, because I have the ocarina, and basically when you have the ocarina, you can unlock the duck, I call it the flying duck, that will get you to warp you to certain areas in the light world. So just heading through Kakariko Village. So like as I'm saying, see, I'm just completely reprogramming myself in how to play A Link to the Past. And you're not supposed to be doing this, but I'm doing it. And I basically now wandering around, can't remember where the heck is Kakariko Village, because I'm sort of confused. Like, what am I supposed to be doing in these areas that have these, you need the Pegasus boots to kick those rocks down. Just checking that whether the ocarina comes with an unlocked goose or duck or whatever, but apparently not. You have to go and unlock them yourself. I remember when the secret, it's not necessary to no, it is necessary to complete the game. Actually, you need to find the flute. So I'm going up here, just subconsciously seeing whether or not they programmed anything different here. But even if you have the ocarina, this flute boy, he will always disappear like that. And this is the guy where you're supposed to get the ocarina from in the Dark World. He gives it to you. No, he gives you a hint of where it is. He gives you the shovel. And with the shovel, you have to dig up the ocarina from the same area. It's sort of like one of these vague and ambiguous areas in A Link to the Past. And I remember when I first discovered the secret, I think I did it through the strategy guide, but there's actually a very nice series of hints in which allows you to unlock the ocarina. The old man in that big house on the left tells you about his son that went to the Dark World looking for the power, as to speak, and wondering where he is. And then you find him, and then there he gives you the flute. And then you're supposed to go back to the old man and play the flute or play the ocarina for him, and he'll tell you a bunch of dialogue that will basically hint you to go to this compass. So it is pretty cool. I usually don't notice this stuff before, but yeah. There we go. Trying to see where to go, and I think where am I supposed to go? So both dungeons I can't progress in. And I'm just racking my brain. Now, where do I go? There's the only place to go is Death Mountain. And luckily enough, in order to access Death Mountain, you're supposed to need the Titan's mitts or the gloves, and I don't have those, but the Ocarina allowed me to bypass that, so that's pretty cool. And here I go back, because also the old man, he's supposed to be giving you the magic mirror, but the randomizer obviously puts him under the umbrella of him giving you randomized items. All these events, these trigger events, they give you randomized items, not an item that you necessarily need. So I'm wondering what he's gonna give me, and I hope it's something good. I'm like, after all this unlucky I stumbled upon some unlucky items in this run through. I'm just praying to God. I'm like, please let this old stupid man give me something that's useful for this playthrough. I don't want it to end, and I hate these guys. They don't die. They just don't die with anything. I think the medallions kill them. I'm not sure. Bow. Finally something that I could use. Like, yeah, a bow. That's pretty cool. But I think I decide to explore the mountain more, because as I'm playing, again, I come to a realization that I might be able to explore Death Mountain more than usual, because I do have the hook shot, and the hook shot grants me access to an area that I'm not normally supposed to be in until I finish part of the Dark World. So that will maybe net me a couple of chests that I will need. Again, very cool that you access these areas early, and like my anticipation has been building up. Like, what do these chests hold for me? Need something cool. Need some cool items, please. So yeah, just keep going here, trying to explore as much as I can, reminding myself hopefully I don't have any like lost items of any sort. Going up. I have to be careful here not to go to the Dark World. So there, I'm hesitating here, because I just remembered I can't go to the Dark World. And then this area leads me back to, supposed to lead me back to the bottom of Death Mountain. And here is where I think I realize, I'm like, oh yeah, I need to, there's this place that I can explore with a hook shot. So I go back. I'm still hesitating here. Should I go up? Should I not go up? But I'm not supposed to be here because I don't have the magic mirror. I have the moon pearl, but I don't have the magic mirror, so I can't go to that area, so I just go here. Basically just exploring, seeing any chests that I missed out on. This is one of the places I can go to, I think, via the hookshot. Or not. So I just fall, yeah. Explore as much as I can, but there's a piece of heart. That's the usual placement of it. It's just funny how things turn out in this randomizer. That's quite cool. Very, very cool, actually. And I hope you viewers are enjoying this, because it's a quite a different take of Link to the Past. So veterans, especially of this game, and even people who like to speedrun it, would definitely like to play it with this randomizer thing. And it's a nice idea for Nintendo, you know. They should seriously think of stuff like that, like remixed versions of their classics. A Link Between Worlds was technically one of that, but I would say it's more of a sequel and less of a remake. But they should think of these things like it's kind of like NES Remix, but on a longer scale. Instead of like having bites of gameplay from classic games, they give you the classic game, but they change something. Like, okay, this is A Link to the Past, but hey, we're completely changing up the items or something like that. Unlock new modes or something. I might as well get the piece of heart, and I got 5. That's pretty cool. But it's a fun way to re-experience the classics, especially games like A Link to the Past. It's sort of like I respect ROM hackers out there, because they do go outside of the box to make these games enjoyable again. Again, the same with the Super Mario Maker community. They've been doing the same thing, basically. You're getting a lot of like remixed or redone versions of old and even new stages that didn't appear in games before. So it's kind of cool. Here I die terribly. I hate these things. I really hate them. They're like the most annoying enemies that you get, especially when you have 5 hearts, and I just loaded my state. Like, screw this. This is stupid. These enemies are stupid. So I'm gonna try again. Hopefully not die. Let's see the combination of rocks with these stupid enemies that are basically invincible are a recipe for disaster. And here I almost die. I actually die. Load the state again. Yeah, I'm just keeping these fail attempts in just to show you that playing with a keyboard and these enemies with the rocks, it's just sort of a struggle here. I'm severely underpowered. And they do get a lot of hearts out of you, like 1 heart per hit, and even those rocks, I'm like, okay, I gotta be very, very careful. Finally, yay, I do it. And here's the place that I'm talking about, that you could basically explore with the hookshot, because I have it early. I'm not supposed to be here, and I'm supposed to be, I think, coming from the opposite side, I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm supposed to be coming from up top of Death Mountain, maybe if I... No. I'm trying to think. No, you could access it whatever way you want. Or yeah, could you? I'm thinking because at the top of Death Mountain there's another way that you need the magic hammer to get that. And you can either go from up top using the magic hammer to access this bottom area, or use the hookshot to access from the bottom top. So they give you... It's actually very vague and ambiguous. They give you 2 methods to access it. Like I said, very cool design. Very, very cool design. Like you have the freedom to access this area from the bottom via hookshot, or from the top via magic hammer. And the magic hammer is the first item you should be getting when you get to the Dark World, so obviously I'll have to explore this as soon as you can in Vanilla Link to the Past. So here's the area where a lot of treasures await. So I'm just contemplating on where to explore first. I remember that I think the bottom, that door leads me on to the top. So I say why not explore these first, the bottom area first, and then go to the top. And here again, the hookshot comes into use. Very, very cool. It's only fairies, not a lot. But I need that. I really do need it. Though I wish I had some bug catching net. It's funny, even the sound of steps. The only thing that the emulator doesn't get right is the sound of going up and down the steps. I don't know why. It sounds very rough here. It sounds more clear when you're playing the Super Nintendo version, or the emulated versions on the Wii U or the Wii or something like that. Another useless shop. I don't know why they put that here. It's like very wasted space, actually. I don't need any of these things here. Maybe bombs. Maybe the reason they put it is bombs, because if you run out of bombs, you could... it doesn't necessarily mean that you can't explore that place, so yeah, here I decide to go down. There's a very tricky place to explore, because all these caves are interconnected in a way, but you have to know where to fall, basically. There are a lot of holes here and there, and some areas will take you to places that you wouldn't think that you would be there. So there I am on the top. I'm contemplating going down again, because I remember that there's a hole that I didn't fall down through, and that will take me somewhere. Yeah, still trying to remember, because this place is, I think, the most confusing place in A Link to the Past, in the Light World at least. I think the Dark World version of it also is just as convoluting, and there's no map to show you where you should be going, so you need to like explore on your own. So yeah, here's the hole that I'm talking about. You have to fall here, and that will lead you to somewhere else. There we go, leads you to here. And here is the Motherlode, I think, the Motherlode, and I get like a zillion items here. And I'm so happy, like this. Okay, there's hope for this playthrough. There's 2 items. Got the boomerang. That's kind of cool. I got a piece of heart. not vital for the playthrough, but I got the upgraded magic boomerang, not the regular one, so that's kind of cool. It gives you the upgraded one immediately. And keep exploring, and I'll find... I think here's the Mother Lord. Here's where I'm gonna find them. The stuff that I need. Yeah, look at that. Look at all that. 5 chests. And just color my surprise. I'm like, I'm gonna get some very cool stuff from here. So I'm trying to like aim my boomerang, trying to like, I get it. Barely get it, but that was like cool technique. Freaking shovel, freaking medallion. Wow, I'm like, okay, this is really cool. The Pegasus boots, yeah, 2 pieces of heart. And you'll see something that's really cool here that they've programmed for this emulated version, and they did modify it for the Game Boy Advance version, is you could have both hold the shovel and the ocarina simultaneously. In the original Link to the Past vanilla, you can't do that. As soon as you get the ocarina from the shovel, the ocarina replaces the shovel permanently. And the shovel is a really nice item to have because you could basically dig anywhere and you should be getting items from the ground. But unfortunately that fun is cut short in the original Super Nintendo version. The Game Boy Advance version allows you to have both simultaneously and does the same thing, like having items to or rupees. You could dig up rupees, dig up hearts, dig up anything actually. So it's very nice, like, to just dig around with a shovel. I really applaud the programmers for this ROM or for this like emulated version, that they went out of their way to do that, because it's nice to have both simultaneously. And the problem is, maybe programming wise, maybe it will be conflicting if you get the ocarina and then you get the shovel, and then the shovel replaces the ocarina and you can't progress anymore. So having both simultaneously is the solution. Very cool, very, very cool. And of course, I don't realize the usefulness of the shovel until later, because now that I have the shovel, I could dig up the ocarina or whatever replaces it in the randomizer. So this will be very, very useful to me. There's a piece of heart there. Not useful to run through now so far. Nothing I can do here. I now realize that I have the Pegasus boots. I can run. I've been going slow through the whole game. So I'm continuing exploration here. See if I can get anything else. I'm missing any other chests before going to completing the first and second dungeons. I can't access the third yet because I do need the magic mirror, because there is a segment at the top of Death Mountain. Got a bottle, cool, kind of cool, but not that. But like, as you can see, the bottle comes with a randomized thing inside of it, so that's kind of cool. I got a green potion in the bottle. Just trying to show it off here, struggling with the keyboard controls. Very funny. And there's where I could switch between both. Showing off with the medallion early. Yeah. I'm just like being showy right now. I killed this one enemy with the... I forgot the name of the medallion. There's an Ether, I think. Ether, Bombos, and Quake, yeah. So I cut off the fluff basically, and we are going back to the second dungeon. Cut off the backtracking and the boring, repetitive backtracking to the second dungeon of the game. And here, since I have the Pegasus boots, I can immediately get this key. Lucky me, and hopefully this will make us progress more into the dungeon. Give us some lucky items, anything that we could use that's useful. Hope, pray to God. But as you've been seeing, most of my run-through here has been quite unlucky, except for that big treasure trove of chests that I stumbled upon in Death Mountain. So here we're going as usual. I think there's supposed to be rupees in that chest, but I get something else, which is as useless for me because I memorized this dungeon. I don't need the compass, but it'd be cool if they make this game without like the compass. or the map. You don't need to get these in the dungeon. Get something instead of them. And here is supposed to be the big key, and it's the big key. Same place. They didn't change that. I immediately run back to the big treasure chest. The item that's supposed to be here in ALTP Vanilla is the Power Glove, which is very important in progressing in the overworld and in this dungeon. And I'm hoping that I get something just as good, even if it's not the Power Glove itself. And hopes have been lost. Freaking map. I don't believe this. I'm like, now gritting my teeth. This is a failed. I can't progress to this dungeon anymore. Can't do anything. Nothing until I get the Power Glove. So decide to cut off here and go back to the first dungeon. Since I have the bow right now, I could kill these enemies and finish the first dungeon at least. And that will grant me access to another randomizer event from Shashalara. I can't pronounce his name. He's supposed to be giving me the Pegasus boots, but he'll give me something else. We'll let this area play out as usual. There's nothing new here. In anticipation to the randomizer event that's coming soon. I've always found the first boss here, quite easy. There's one of probably the easiest boss in the game. It's they recycle it in the Dark World again, like a harder version of it, where the ropes, the ground is all slippery, and I think they take more hits or something like that. So I just plow through these, struggling with the keyboard. My aim is not as good as having a Super Nintendo controller, but I'm doing well. There we go. And this dude, it's better to finish off with the sword because it's just too fast jumping around here. But if you're skilled enough, you could actually get some bow hits or some arrow hits if you can do it. So I'm just doing that. It's a cheap way to finish off the boss, but effective. It'd be cool if they randomized these heart containers. That'd be nice. Like we get something instead of the heart containers, and we can get the heart containers in other areas of the randomizer. But I don't know how easy or hard that is to program because I think the chests follow a certain algorithm. So here we go. We are going back to Shalaharala. I will never pronounce the name correctly. Hopefully something useful from the dude, from the old man. Like I said, supposed to be Pegasus boots, but again, I'm gonna be unlucky. Yeah, give me 20 rupees for all the efforts I've done. And I'm giving him the medallion. And he gave me the legendary item of 20 rupees. I'm very frustrated right now. So I've ran out of options. Opened up the pause screen. Don't know what to do. I'm just thinking, where else did I miss? Where else did I miss? There has to be something. And as I'm thinking here, we're gonna cut to the final area in which all my chests, everything has been exhausted. I have no other options. If this doesn't give me something useful, this place is over. So here's the area. It's above the sanctuary on the left side. You have to have the Pegasus boots to get it. It's supposed to be a piece of heart. And I'm done. 50 rupees. Done. Playthrough over. I'm like, okay, this is nothing else. There's nothing else I can do. It's absolutely over. Was fun while it lasted. I'm glad I played it, but this run through is over. Now I'm just like exploring the overworld mindlessly, thinking, racking my brain. Is there anywhere else that I didn't find? Any other chests I didn't open? Any other events that I didn't trigger? And for me, I think I finished everything. I can't do anything right now. There's nothing, absolutely nothing for me. So I'm just like going around here, there, just messing around, see if I could remember anything. Going to that teleporter here, seeing anything that any other option. But it's not to be, unfortunately. But this was a fun playthrough. I advise any fans of A Link to the Past to go for it. It's fun. You just have to, for me, as long as you own the game in any form, you could use this emulated version. Like I said, even though I don't advocate it, but it's just worth going through. It's quite fun to play, quite fun to stream. quite fun to share with people, actually. And I might do another one of these in the future if you guys enjoyed this. It's quite a long video, but if you enjoyed it, please send a comment, send a like as usual. Hit those buttons, and if you have any other like suggestions, maybe there's something that I missed. If there's something that I missed, I could just continue this current playthrough because I've saved it. So if there's any other areas that I can't recall now that I could trigger, chests or events, please inform me in the comments. Again, hope you've enjoyed, and I'll see you soon with another video. Peace out.